There was once a very poor man. A very poor man. For his dinner he only had one small piece of bread. And passing by a very nice restaurant, he could smell soup. So he took his little piece of bread, that's all he had, and he held it by the steam of the soup so that it would smell nicer and taste nicer. The very greedy restaurant owner was very annoyed with the poor man and demanded money from him. "I have no money," he said. "I have no money at all." And so the restaurant owner took him to court. And at that time the Dean was a very great judge. A very great judge. "What is the problem here?" he said. And the restaurant owner said, "This man has stolen the smell of my soup." "Is that all?" "Yes, he's stolen the smell of my soup." The wise judge thought about the problem for a while and then took some coins out of his pocket and jingled them into the ear of the restaurant owner. "What is this? What nonsense is this?" said the restaurant owner. "I can only hear coins jingling." "That is your payment for the smell of the soup. Go back to your restaurant, you greedy man, and I thank you for your kind attention." Hey. Another story I have for you, my dears, is based partly on personal experience, based partly on very personal experience, and partly on bits of things which you will decide. It's about our contact with people from outer space. It has nothing to do with science fiction. It has nothing to do with Douglas Adams. You'll decide as and when. A long time ago I hitched all over this country. All over. The stories also about hitchhiking. Pay attention and then you'll learn how to hitchhike. I hitchhiked from London up to the Central Highlands, from London down to the Suffolk coast and over to Devon, to beautiful Devon. And sometimes I ran out of traffic. There was no traffic. And one night in the West Country near Torquay, I had to sleep in a herb flavoured smelling ditch. It was a wonderful place to spend the night. And a light shone in my eyes and it was a cop. "Get into the car," he said. "Where are you going?" "Into the middle of Torquay, Constable." "It's the middle." "Get in, I'll give you a lift." The 20 miles, lucky lift. But all the time I had to hear about his stresses and strains in his marriage and his job and his marriage. Very often, the people who stop and give you a lift, those who are more interesting and pleasant to be with than those who just ignore you and drive past. All right, this was a long time ago, before the country was covered in a great big network, a poisonous cobweb of motorways. It was easier to hitch then. But pay attention and you'll learn how to hitchhike. And one night I was setting off. And as regards our contact with people from outer space, whatever might be there, whatever might be, the joke is there intelligent life on Earth? Is there intelligent life? In the vastness of space, there's got to be some sort of intelligence that is watching us and know it. They have every reason out there to fear us, to hate us, to despise us, considering the mess we've made of this planet. And all the time so different, going into different forms of colonization, environmental degradation, and different forms of slavery. They have every reason to hate, despise and fear us. But not like the creature I met that wonderful night. I was working in, on Merseyside, Southport, Merseyside. I was working, and I was living down in Nottingham, 220 odd miles. I had no money at all, and had to hitch. But foolishly, I'd left it too late. I'd left it too late, and I'd run out of traffic. One night I had to sleep just outside of Walkden, Manchester. Any widely travelled people here? Walkden outside. I had to again sleep out there, run out of traffic. Oh God. And then all of a sudden I saw it coming down the road at me. I could see it coming down the road. Oh lorry, oh great. And then I stood exactly where the driver could see me from a long way off. Stood back, a big smile, big smile. Catch the driver's eye as soon as you can and look pleasant. Well, try to look pleasant anyway. And it approached me. This vehicle approached me. Like the most amazing vehicle you have ever seen, my friends. It was covered in all sorts of psychedelic patterns, and each individual pattern had a different tune, a different sound, a different smell. It was amazing. What I've got to give you now, it all happened in the space of a couple of minutes, and I've got to try and remember and unpack what happened and how it happened and what happened. And the lorry drove up and the window came down and a voice said, "Quo vadis?" Ancient Latin, where goest thou? And I thought, poor chap, he's got a voice defect and he can't speak English. Poor chap. But somehow by a sort of telepathy, before I'd even said, I'm going a couple hundred miles to Nottingham, please, he said, "Get into the vehicle." And it all happened so quickly. It all happened so quickly. It was like when a great big dog comes rushing up to, "Oh, oh," and then it only wants you to love him and to touch him. Exactly. It all happened so quickly. All fear left me. And I got into the cab, could only see different shadows moving about on the driver's side as the lorry took off. How do you make conversation in a situation like that, my friends? How do you make conversation in a situation like that? And so all I could say was, you are in the most amazing vehicle I've ever seen in my life. What a fantastic vehicle this is. It was meant to be inconspicuous. And then the strange voice said, "Sustenance do you require? Do you?" And before I could say anything, some tubes came down from the roof of the cab to touch my head, and immediately into my body I could feel the effect of my favourite dinner. Pie and chips, tons of gravy, vegetables on the side, cake and custard to follow. My favourite dinner. And within seconds we were outside where I needed to be. "I regret I can go no further towards your domicile. The streets are too narrow." "Hey, this is just fine, thank you, thank you." And I got out, closed the door behind me, and as his vehicle sped on back to where it came, it turned the colour of sludge green grey, and on the outside only two words, Eddie Stobart. Eddie Stobart. Years later I had no ill effect of that meeting. I had no effect of that contact. None at all. As I said, they have every reason to fear and despise us. For all I knew, that creature was part of the advance party of a slaving expedition, for all I knew. But for my money, it was a close encounter of the very helpful kind. And I thank you for your kind attention.